Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome back to Spiritual Juice. I'm Yvette and I'm your host today. And today we're going to be talking about something that I get asked a lot, especially with my clients in my wellness business. Everyone is on this thing where they want to know what their life purpose is. And that's a fair question. Let's be honest. I mean, but I've never heard it like um, asked so much until just recent years. Like where was everybody like 10 years ago? I think since COVID, a lot has happened, and a lot of us are um, we've become a lot more aware, a lot more conscious, and we're asking ourselves really important questions, which is really it's a good thing. And finding your life purpose, it's it means that we're waking up. It means that many of us feel like somehow we are destined for something that's much greater than ourselves. And that could possibly mean that maybe you feel like your life has a bigger meaning, a bigger purpose, and the same old matrix type of lifestyle that you were fed is somehow it's not going to do for you. You're recognizing that you are a unique being and that for some reason you were brought here and you want to know what it is. So let's get right into it. So, and I'll be honest with you, let me just say this before I go on to the really meaty stuff, is that your life purpose is probably the biggest question, the biggest undertaking that you will have in your life. And it's good to consider, it's good to research, it's good to unearth, it's good because it's going to determine a lot of things about you in your life. It's going to determine how happy you are, how successful you are, how much money you're going to make. And to be honest, it's probably going to determine how long you're going to live, actually. Now, let me just say that social media, okay, now for all of its wonderful, we all love social media. I'm on social media. We all have platforms. If you don't, you must be hiding under a rock. But social media has done a job. It's a deadly counterforce in our path to self discovery because unconsciously, I think we feel pressure to imitate those who we perceive to be successful, thinking that we see the only path to power is through what we see others doing, through materialism, through, I must live like this, my life must go in this order. I want to be like somebody else. And it forces us to kind of fit into the trends of the time. And we become so impatient and afraid to begin at the very beginning and to freely experiment, to be honest, because it is an experimentation. So what really makes sense is to ignore all that stuff. Just ignore. It's just to be an observer, okay? And understand that it's real. What we see on television or magazines or social media, that's wonderful for them. That's what's possible for them, but it doesn't mean that it's for you because each one of us are very unique. And finding your own unique path on your journey to fulfilling your life purpose is definitely an undertaking and it should not be taken lightly. And I can tell you from my own experience that nothing that you have ever done will be wasted. And what I mean is that many of us have done lots of things. We can do many things, multi-talented, multifaceted, and we think, wow, I spent years in law school and I don't even want to be a lawyer, or I worked at the call center, or I've done this and done that. I should have never done that. No. Nothing will ever be wasted because that's part of your unique story. It's like whatever it is that you decide upon or whatever it is that you discover, it's like you are going to use those skills. You're going to use those experiences and being part. of your life purpose. Okay. And that's your unique sort of secret sauce, because no one's purpose is exactly the same, because we're not exactly the same. And I want you to know that it's never too late. You're never too young, too old, to discover your purpose. So, I mean, a lot of very, very successful people have discovered their purpose in life at a much later age, maybe 40s, 50s, even 60s and on, and some people know, they just come out of the womb. It seems like they just know that they were destined for a particular path, which is cool as well. And but we're all, we have our stuff to do. We have our own experiences. And I was reading this book, Mastery, by the great Robert Greene. He wrote the 48 Laws of Power, and he refers to your life's purpose as your life's task. And I really kind of like the sound of that. It sounds really doable. It sounds light. It sounds like, oh, is that a task? It's something I got to do, something I got to tick off, it's something I got to get to. It makes me feel really hopeful, because it sounds so attainable. It means that you're going to get there. Like, you don't like have to like know, like nothing's wrong if you don't know right away. It sounds super light, and it sounds really doable. Life's task. I love the sound of that. But most of us know this as our life purpose, which on the other hand, it sounds good, but it sounds so serious. It sounds almost to me like a command, if you will. It's like purpose. It sounds so grandiose. It's a purpose. You do it with intention, and it's big. It sounds like it's got to be something really, really big. And if you recognize that your purpose is just being someone's mother, that, oh, that's all I have to do, that's my purpose. Well, you may be the mother of the next, I don't know, someone really, really big, and you influence and you nurture that child so much that you inspire him or her to go on to do really, really, really great things with their lives. So don't take it lightly. And a life purpose is a life purpose. So whether you want to call it a life purpose or a life task, it's up to you. But just getting familiar with that life task idea is kind of, it's food for thought. It's kind of cool. And the whole idea is that the purpose is just, there's a reasoning behind it. It's something that has to be done, or the reason that you exist, which is true. But it's kind of like this whole idea of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And I'm going to just go over briefly like a few key points to consider discovering what your life's purpose is. So the first thing that I would say, and I stand on this, okay, is that you have to know yourself. You have to get to know who you are. And if you're really, really interested in knowing your life purpose, it takes energy and passion to discover what makes you unique and what you love. And every single person on this earth was born with a unique talent that no one else has. And in order to discover that, you have to remember who you are, because many of us at a very early age, before we got all these um, wounds and all of these ideas from others outside of us, we knew who we were. We knew, and somehow we felt that maybe it wasn't good enough, because maybe our parents, maybe our friends, maybe our playmates, they laughed at us. Maybe they thought it was ridiculous because no one else was doing it, which is kind of counterproductive. But so we kind of like thought, well, maybe I better not do that. Maybe it's not good enough. And you have to understand that, we have these two parents, and they come together to have you. They put all this energy into creating you and raising you for better or for worse. We all come with what we come with. And no matter how hard they try, They try really hard to kind of influence us. And then we have our siblings. And sometimes there's like this sibling rivalry. Well, who's going to be better? Who's going to be smarter? Who's going to be the standout person in the family? It's kind of like a competition. I know that because I have siblings myself, and there's, even if it's unspoken, but there's some sort of like rivalry, even if it seems friendly, but it's definitely a rivalry. And so I just want to say that no one else will ever have the same capacity as you do, with all of your gifts and all of your talents. And the exact way that you do it, it's how you do it, even with the same recipe, but it's how you do it with your uniqueness. And I understand that some people have no desire to understand who they are and to master their authentic selves. And this is fine. But no, if you go through this life thing, something that doesn't make you happy, or you half-assing things, you need to know that your life is just half lived if you don't really understand who you are. You don't know who you are, then you kind of stand for anything you'll wear. If you don't know, you don't have that compass to know what resonates with you or what doesn't, or what's for you or what's not for you, or what you stand for, what your values are, where you come from, what makes you tick. You will never be completely fulfilled if you do not know who you are. Your purpose is what gives you this discovery for yourself. It's like, think of it as a gift, this gift of knowing who you are, because it's going to lead you to your life purpose, is exactly what it is. It's a gift. And the whole thing about remembering, because through life, through adolescence, through much of our adulthood, sometimes we kind of forget, because we have this pressure to kind of fit in a box. And if you don't fit in, then something is not okay. You're not going to be accepted. You're not going to be loved. We all want to be loved. We all want to belong. So I would say to connect to who you are. And a lot of us are removed from really who we are and what makes us happy, because we listen to a lot of other people, like I said. Even adults listen to other people. We listen to people that we like or we're attracted to, or we listen to what the media says, what the government says, what the world, what the newspapers are saying. We look outside of ourselves again. That goes back to that social media. And we are surrounded by too many distractions to recognize what we like and what we don't like. And it's okay. It's okay to experiment. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to not know. Just to understand that you're on this journey of self discovery. And if you want to know your life purpose, just keep going. Just be a conscious observer of yourself, and how this experience that you're going through, this life experience, makes you feel when you're trying and experiencing different things. And we're so lucky, because we have the opportunities that people who came before us did not have. We have time. We have opportunities to try things out, to see if it fits, to see if it feels right, to see if you could resonate, if it makes your heart sing. We have time, and we have opportunities to try different things and discover what lights us up. Discover something that you're naturally good at and drawn to. And I want to say that don't be too rigid in this discovery. Just have fun. Just combine all the things that you really love. And again, it doesn't matter if it takes years, because again, nothing is ever wasted. If you're more mature in life and you have been doing a lot of things here and there, then that's fine, because you're going to be able to use all of that, and it's going to make your purpose and your experiences even more rich. Okay, and I want to talk about something else in terms of this life purpose business, because it's a conversation, and it goes deep, and there's a lot of components, and there's a lot of things that we could say, but I've decided to cover my top three. So let's go on to number two. And I would say, let it come from inside of you. Just tapping on to that thing about, what somebody else says you should be doing. You are going to know, you are going to feel it. It's going to be something that feels so comfortable and something that probably has always been there, but you probably overlooked it, because of the influences from without. And it is a struggle because that's where that kind of like getting to know yourself and knowing who you are business comes into play. Because, like I said, if you don't know who you are going to be tested and you are going to be swayed and moved by every shiny penny that comes along. And let me just say that um, knowing that you're trusting yourself and standing on business, standing for yourself, it has a lot to do with the self-love that we talk about. Because if you love yourself, you are not going to let what others say influence you, and you're going to be patient with yourself. You're going to ask yourself, how can I be better? How can I tap in? How could I honor myself to know that it's always been within me? But sometimes we have to be more quiet. We have to quiet down. We just have to hear ourselves. We have to ask the tough questions, but with love, be patient. And in the meantime, on the journey, just admire the view. Just keep living your life, keep experiencing with no pressure. And I have found on my own journey that somewhere in my mind that my life purpose, I thought it had to, it's like, are you sure I have a life purpose? And I'm looking at all these people around me and they don't seem like they have a life purpose, because I always thought that if I didn't change the world, or if I didn't create do something really profound, like discover a cure for something that was killing, everyone, or just something that was just so much beyond my comprehension, that I'm just a regular person. We're regular people, but we are profound people in our own and unique ways. So understanding who we are, but knowing that it's going to come from within, not from without. I'm learning, even on my sort of like path that's been unpaved, and it's scary sometimes. And sometimes I'm questioning myself, and like, well, wait a second. I don't know. I don't want to make the wrong turn, and I don't want to waste time, and I don't want to invest in this. But life is for the living. Yeah, we have to live. We can't be afraid of our own shadows. Just to keep moving forward and never giving up. Do not retreat. Do not be dismayed. Do not be defeated by all of life's ups and downs, because the ego doesn't want you to grow. The ego wants you to stay so ordinary. It's safe there. And it's so simple, but we try to make it so hard. And knowing that just being conscious and being aware, it goes a long, long way. It's not that big of a deal. It's coming. It's there, but we have to unearth it. And I would say, like, looking outside of yourself, it's like money. If it's your purpose, if it's your life task, money will not be an issue, because there's no one else that could do it like you. They're paying for your magic. They're paying for your uniqueness, the way that you do what you do, and the way that you do, the way that you deliver, the way that you share. Money will never, ever be the reason why you have a particular life's purpose. Now, we all are abundant. We all will make money once we tap into our authentic selves and we discover our life's purpose. That's a guarantee. But there's another guarantee that's much more profound, very simple, but it's a pure indicator of life purpose, is that you will feel something within your soul. It will light you up. You will be living in your truth, and it won't even feel like a task. It won't even feel like work. It's just like perfect for you. Remember when you were a child and so curious, and not afraid to try things that sparked your interest before you bought into these ideas that you had to be a certain way. And it was such a wonderful time because you knew even then what you wanted. You knew that anything was possible because there were no rules. And maybe you didn't have language to express it, but you knew what it felt like inside. Even if your answer was, when someone asked you, I don't know if you have these experiences where family members or teachers, other people, they were always asking you, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do when you grow up one day? And I've heard so many small children, because I used to teach kindergarten years ago, and they're so pure and so bright and so free and so big hearted. And they would all give me answers related to how they wanted to help. Help was like a common denominator. All the children talked about is helping to do things in the world. They didn't talk about receiving things. They were interested in giving of themselves in this world, or they wanted to have simple things like I would hear things like, I just want to have a farm with all of my animals and we can all live together. And it was just so beautiful and so pure. And I just loved it. And maybe and for a 5-year old, it sounded like that. But if you could like take it 25, 35 years into the future, it might look like you would have an organic farm where animals were treated humanely, or you would grow organic vegetables that would serve communities and that nourish bodies that would allow them to show up more healthy, more present, more vibrant. You would really inspire other farmers and you would show them a new system of irrigation or farming that would really change the way that we eat and serve and grow our food. So you see how the grown up version of that little 5-year old version, which was the seed, but it's about helping, it's about being. It's not like someone said, well, how much you're going to get paid, because children really, they don't really worry about money that much until the world shows them that you should worry about money. Can you see what I mean? Can you see all these clues about this childlike pure expression? It's there, and you have to find that again. It's inside of you somewhere. It's very deep probably, but it's definitely there. And until one day you realize what someone else tells you that you can't be. So you have to like reprogram yourself to say, hey, I can be whatever I want. It's up to me. And I'm not taking no for an answer. And if it's for you, there's no way that no is an answer. It's always yes. It's always going to be yes. It might be no for someone else because it's not their life purpose. So like purpose, the answer is always yes. To understand that we don't always have to figure out how it's going to happen. We just have to plant that seed. We just have to know. And we have to keep working at it. We have to keep growing with it. We have to keep living it. You know, it didn't say it wouldn't, it didn't say it wouldn't be work, but it's going to be the kind of that you really love and you really are passionate about it. But it's so unique. Even if you went to Harvard and people go, well, you went to Harvard, you should be a doctor, a lawyer, or a politician or something. But really, your MBA from Harvard, all you really want to do is bake bread and then go back to your hometown and you create this sustainable bakery where supportive and everyone that best bread ever. The kind of grandmother used to make it. And it's so good, but everybody wins, everybody benefits because your business model is the best business model, especially when it comes to serving others, especially when it comes to helping others and making the world a better place. So remember what lights you up and observe yourself and how your body feels even when you allow this feeling to happen. This is your energy. This is your intelligence responding and letting you know that you're on to something really big. Now, my next, it's a little bit shorter, but it's really simple, very happy, and it's very to the point. It's about being excited and to have fun and a sense of joy when you're discovering your life purpose. It should feel like that. It should feel like when you understand who you are and when you go within and you start to discover your life purpose, you're excited about it. You're passionate. You have fun with it. It's a sense of joy. It's like this newfound treasure that was always buried deep within. And you found it, and it's so valuable to you because it really lights you up. And you should really have an emotional attachment to what lights you up, really, because it's about how you feel. Because how you feel is how you're going to make others feel. So do what lights you up. Try different things, especially things that you might sometimes think that you can't do. And I like to say, if you're afraid of something, and maybe that means that you have to do it. And again, looking back to your childhood when you were never afraid, when it made total sense, but you were just coming from your heart space. And these people that know you well, ask them about yourself, ask them about your childhood when you were just very young, 4, 5, 6, 7, and what child or what did you gravitate toward? Ask them about your earliest experiences and things that they noticed about you, things that you love to do. Because sometimes it takes people that knew you really before that you were really conscious of a life purpose or anything like that. They've been watching you every day. They've been watching you grow, and they can tell you stories about yourself that you have no recollection. The people that you knew from way back when, ask them to tell you stories about some of their experiences with you and things that you loved and things that you did and things that sometimes maybe it got you in trouble, but you did anyway. This is really, really key. And I wouldn't take it lightly, just going back even to your old neighborhoods and talking to neighbors and, seeing what they're doing. And because they're always going to have lots of stories because they get to see you, the adult you, and they're always talking about remember this and remember that. And finally, I want to say that whatever you decide, whatever you choose, whatever options that you decide are best for your life, your life's purpose or your life's task, you are the co-creator of your life. And understand that it's completely your choice. It's your free will. There are many options available and there are many roads, but understanding that once you discover your life's purpose, your life will never, ever be the same. And that's all I got for you. I hope this has been enlightening, and I hope that you've taken something from this podcast that you could really use for thought, because I think that once a lot of us are onto our life's purpose, we're going to see a lot more healthy people, a lot more happy people, and a lot more people who are getting paid their load. They're not apologizing. They're not trying to fit in. And they're just being their authentic selves. So that's all I got. I'm going to see you on the next podcast. And thank you for listening.